Hello. Great morning, great afternoon, great evening, whenever you're viewing this video. I thank you so much. I thank those of you who have been liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. My name is Sheron M. Clark, and I'm here to encourage your heart. And I just want you to just quickly say this. I wasn't planning to, but I'm going to say this right now as well. That the reason why I'm called to do this and to speak into your life is because I know what it is to go through spiritual darkness for years. I'm a living, walking testimony like so many of you are. And so God has called me to do this, to speak life and to reveal some things to you that you probably know, but you need to hear it so you can really move from where you are to go to the next level. We're all learning. I'm still learning, but I'm thanking God so much for all that He has brought me through. And so I just want to leave this here with you today. Is your life just a blur? Because you know what? We can be so busy going. And what we don't understand sometimes is that it is also one of the strategies of the enemy. He knows how to keep us so busy that we can't even hear God. We are so tired we can't stop to pray. We're so tired that we can't even understand what we're reading because the brain is tired, the mind is tired, everything is tired. It's one of his one of his tricks. I'm sorry. One of his device is to get us that exhausted, doing good things, but sometimes not things that we need to do at the time when we're doing it, and so we are just going, and just drop at night in the bed. And I want us to be more mindful of this, more aware of the fact that it is also one of the deterrents to our spiritual walk and walk in the fullness of who God called you to be. I was talking to a sister 2 weeks ago, and she has been through a lot. Like so many people, but she has been through a lot. She, as usual, families conflict usually is always some issue going on in families, and so she was going through that. Plus her daughter suicided 9 months ago, and I know she's more than likely going to see this video, so it's okay to say we talk all the time. And so she has been through that, and sometimes things like the enemy love to hit at the money. When the money is funny, there's no when it's funny, there's no fun. And so it's a lot going on. And I said to her, I said, what did you have for dinner 2 days ago? She couldn't remember. I said, what did you have yesterday? She couldn't remember. And many people can't remember unless you have the same thing every night. Sometimes some people can't remember what they have because life is just like a blur. You're just moving from one activity to the next activity to the next activity. And at the end of the day, you can't remember what exactly you did all day. Somebody were to ask you, list everything you can't remember. List everything you do for the week. So we have to write. Maybe it's because we're getting more mature, but you need to write. Write down what you're doing so you can see the progress you're making and not be frustrated. Because the reality is that if you're just running, you're exhausted, you feel like you're not making any progress. It is frustrating. And so I just want to encourage you to take a break and understand that it is okay to stop and breathe. David said in Psalm 32:7, he says, you are my hiding place. We all have to find a place where we can decompress. Because if we keep building up steam and building up pressure and just going, one day the lid is going to blow off. And we don't want that. We want to walk and be progressive, but at the same time be mindful of the fact that this is flesh and blood. It can get weird, worn down, and get messed up and have all sort of issues. Just like the vehicle, you don't keep driving the vehicle forever without putting gas or fixing it and making sure that it needs to be taken care of, maintained. Otherwise, it's going to break down. Your body needs that. Jesus took the time to rest. In Luke chapter 5, verse 16, you see where he went into the wilderness to pray. Prayer is a way of just recalibrating, connecting with your maker and saying, you know what, God, just telling him what is going on. And it's a way to relax. It's a way to just be in his presence so he can sing songs of deliverance over you. He said that in Psalm 32. He says he sings songs of deliverance over us, his people. Every time Jesus ministered, if you look in the scriptures, you'd see in the Gospels where he went away in a solitude place to pray. He went to pray to connect with his Father. But it's also when you have been ministering, you're actually giving out energy. You're losing virtue, so you need to be able to replenish that. Otherwise, you'll be exhausted. And Jesus often do it. And everything you see Jesus do, take it as an example. Please, it is for our example. He rested. When you rest, you're able to stop get clarification. You have more clarity in your mind. You are more creative, and you gain momentum. You don't lose anything. Because if you're going, and there's no steam, you're just going through the motion, but you're not really progressing. It's like you're just standing still. You're just going, you're marking time on the spot. You're not really progressing because you're too tired, emotionally drained. Your body is tired. And a lot of times we go through this and we think it's some mental illness or the enemy. No. It's us needing to apply wisdom. Use wisdom to know that you are limited in your humanity. And so you need that energy. You need that strength from the Lord. You need to use wisdom and take that break so you can recalibrate, re-energize, refuel, refresh, so you can really move in the strength that you need to move in, so you can do what God has called you to do. Luke chapter 10, also in 38, when Jesus visited Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, it was a time for him to rest and socialize. So he stopped to rest with them. He stopped to have a meal with them. And when he was there, of course, Mary was just at his feet, just gleaning from Jesus. And Martha was upset. Martha is like, can't you just see? She needs to come and help me. Jesus is like, Martha, Martha. Mary has chosen the better part. Okay? There's a time to rest. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I know you're there because I'm talking to myself as well. There's a time to rest, to feel like, because otherwise I'm telling you, your nerves, your brain will feel so stretched. You need to rest. Because the enemy knows what he's doing to you. Because Daniel 7:25 says one of his agenda, and I tell you this is one of his strategies, he seeks to weary the saints of the Most High. Daniel chapter 7:25. Because if you're weary and tired and exhausted, I'm telling you, you can't even, you sleep and you can't remember your dreams. You sleep and you can't remember what you dream. When God is talking to you and giving you instructions in your dreams. Because the word of God this is the word. The Bible is the word of God. And we need the word. But God can speak to you through, it does speak to you through his word, but he can speak to you also through dreams. Check the Bible. It's all over the Bible. He's talked to us through dreams, various ways. Don't put God in a box. But if you're too exhausted, you're dreaming like, you can't even remember your dream. Some people say they don't ever dream. I don't believe, we all dream. We just can't remember. And we can pray about that and ask the Lord to help you to remember your dream, because it's important to remember your dreams. When your subconscious is awakened to the Spirit of God, I'm telling you, he speaks to you. He speaks to us. He did it to Joseph. Even the heathen, it doesn't matter. We are human beings and this Spirit is in us. He can speak to anybody. Anybody. Mark 4:38-40, Jesus was, when he was in the boat sleeping, and the wind and the wave was just coming and beating on the boat, and the disciples were afraid. They said, Master, you what? Don't you see? Don't you care that we perish? He was fast asleep in the boat. In the storm. What does that say? In the storm. In the storm, he was fast asleep. That tells me volumes. He says, my peace I leave with you. The peace, the world didn't give it to you, and the world can't take it away from you. Because it's in the storm some of us have to learn to sleep. Otherwise, we would never rest, because there's always something happening. So we have to learn to rest even in the midst of turmoil, even in the midst of what is going on. Not that we are being, irresponsible. No, it's just that God has given us that peace that, he is going to see you through the storm. He's going to see you through all the tsunami and everything that is going on. But we have to learn to rest in him. We have to learn to trust him. I remember years ago when I was living in New York, and I was just running and hustling, just running. I was in sales. And I was moving through Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, you name it. Anywhere the sale is, Sheron was there. Train, bus, oh my gosh, Grand Central Station, you name it. Anywhere I was there, because I was building my business. And I remember one late night, I was sitting in the subway waiting for the train. I was waiting at the number 4, number 5, going. I was at Bowling Green, actually, and I was going into Brooklyn. And I remember I sat on the chair, I got a seat, and I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted that I literally, tears, I was just crying. I was like, God, I was so tired. And when I said that, I'm going to tell you how good God is and how God is watching over you and over me. When I said that, I literally felt like somebody hugged me. I felt the Holy Spirit hug me. And it just revived me. And I said, God, I thank you. I thank you, Spirit of the living God. So I just want you to know that it's important to rest. We need to rest. But the Lord is with you no matter what. And so I leave that encouragement with you today. Yes, this is what I want to say to you. It is important to rest. We can run down everything, but at the end of the day, if you exhaust yourself into the grave, it makes no difference. You're gone. No, you need to be able to rest so God can use you in the midst of all that you're doing and achieving and trying to accomplish. Okay, so I just want to leave this quick word with you today. Rest in the Lord. It's for somebody, because you know what, you might be saying, oh, I am not doing too much, I am fine. But if you are sitting down even in the physical and your mind is going at 100 miles per hour, you're still not rested. You're still not rested, because the body needs to rest. Your spirit, your organs, everything needs to rest. You don't eat 24/7. We rest the organs so that it can digest and it can nurture the cells and the muscles and the tissues and your blood. Give it time to digest and rest. You don't eat 24/7. Everything needs a rest. That is why God, he created the earth in 6 days, and the 7th day he rested. There's a reason why God rested. It's a principle he's teaching us. He didn't have to rest because he's God. God can never be tired. But he was teaching us a principle. And so we need to take the time to rest in the Lord. Just rest in him. And that's when you can hear. You know, I know I said I was going, but let me leave this video quickly. There's a time when the Lord would want to talk to me, and I would get so literally exhausted. Literally like drained. Everything would just drain from me, and I have to go and kneel down before him or just lie down. And whenever I do that, that's when he will show me what is to come. And I remember one day in particular when I was going to the door to go do business outside. I was going outside to do some business. And when I got to the door, I was so drained. I was so weak. Got dressed. I had to get up, go upstairs and lie down. And when I lied down, the Lord showed me an accident that was going to take place. I didn't know the time, but he showed me that I was driving down the highway and the brakes failed. And I was pressing on the brakes, and the brakes would not, there was no brakes. And when I woke up, I said, oh my God, I don't know when, but you're showing me this. And I prayed and fasted. And 1 year afterwards, I was on the highway coming out the same way. And when I pressed on the brakes would not stop. And I sailed off the ramp, zoom, and it was a utility pole that stopped me. Yes, I thank God. God is a mighty God. He's a God of the miraculous. And he has done many miracles in your life. Many miracles. And you need to stop and thank God. You need to stop, take a rest, take a breather, and say, God, you have done this. I thank you for today. Show me what you have in store for me for tomorrow. Talk to the Lord. Learn to rest in him so you can hear him and you can walk in the fullness of the gifts that he has given you. The call he has given you. You can worship him with every fiber of your being because you're not exhausted. You can sit down and enjoy the word and not be sleeping all the time, because it happens to all of us. You know, we sit down, we just, but it can't be every time. It can be, yes, sometimes it's going to happen because we're human and we're going, but it can't be all the time. So if it's happening and it's a regular thing and it's a pattern, you need to look into it. You need more rest. Don't let the enemy use that against you, because he can only do it if we give him permission. And if we are not careful of how we conduct ourselves, then the enemy sees it as an opportunity to come in and try and use that for his good, okay? Which is never good. Never good for you or for me. So I just wanted to leave that. God bless you. Keep you. And may his face continue to shine upon you and be gracious unto you, okay? Don't let the enemy use that against you. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.